If my work was in some phrases, and this is in the words of Dr. Tello in his work with Joven Noble, and it is, I am sacred, I am loved, and I am a blessing. So if we can repeat that all together, I am sacred, I am loved, I am a blessing. Thank God. Thank you. Love you, bro. Thank you. Oh, man. Yes. Buenos días, you all. Yes. Andrew, thank you so much. I want to first start by doing a somatic reset, so a body reset, continuing this thing with us, right, as we talk here. And so, if everybody can stand up. Okay. Very good. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to this because I'm gonna need my hands. Okay, so we are going to say good morning to our bodies. Okay, so if we can first can we all go like this? Just like this. Very good. Very good. Okay, so now we're gonna do this like tapping, just like this. Very good. Just all around your body, kind of following me. Yep. And if we can say buenos días, body. And just receive that message. Oh, good. Very good. And one inhale, and a slow exhale. Very good. And now a little self-hug. And saying, thank you, body. And allowing yourself to receive that message. Very good. Now a little shaky. And bring this around your whole body. Yeah, there you go. Yes. Okay. And then any other messages you want to send to your body. Thank you, you're beautiful. Anything else. Very good. And one more inhale. And a slow exhale. Very good. All right. We're ready now. We are ready. We have communicated to our bodies that we're here together, that there's this feeling of connection, right, that I invite you all to tap into as I speak, as you all are here together. That's one thing that I really enjoyed about Creative Mornings when I came to my first one, which was this past time, that just the connectedness that was here. And so with that, you all, I first want to say that with this work and my work present day, Marcos, right? I'll be 33 here next month, which is wild. I want to say that I am not the whole story. I am but a whisper of the experiences that I'll be talking about and from the identities that I'll be talking about. And so I want you all to keep that in mind. And that's one of my biggest points in this is that art is a form of political education. And what we just did with our bodies is a form of political education, and that being in my body, I think even talking, for me, being up here is a very recent thing. It's like 4 to 3 year thing where Marcos has actually felt confident in his body to actually speak. And a lot of my work, as we go through it, a lot of it was, I think that this is where I'll start, right? A lot of it came from me not feeling that frustration with not being able to literally vocalize what I was saying. So a lot of it was through music, was through stitching, and it was rooted in this positive obsession. This is my mama right here, Gabriela Gutierrez Morales right here. Yes. Yes. And the empty seats definitely represent my family who aren't here, and my friends and who are here very present though still. And what my point is that if you just sit in front of my mom, you will get this sense of positive obsession with life. There's like, I'm gonna get it. I've always wondered what it was like if I strapped a GoPro onto my people's chest just to see how like they're just scanning the room for like, oh, that might be a thing over here. Oh, that's an opportunity over there. Maybe I could maybe sell some food over here. And we'll see this detailed in their oral histories. They just wake up so positively obsessed with how are they going to make it happen? How am I going to augment life, right? And so a lot of my work in fabric art, my latest technique has to do with, it's called ropa memoria, so the memory within clothing. And it's this piece, it's this deliberate act for the person who's wearing it to interact with it. So this is no different than gardening. Where you have to go and maintain. Actually, the land that we are sitting on right now, the Osage, the Chickasaw, Cherokee, East Band, all of this. So I'm from Okolona Highview. On Briscoe, for those people who are not from here, if you type in Briscoe Lane, and if the cross street it's Briscoe, and I'm forgetting what the other one. It'll come in a second. But what I'm saying is it's Highview and Okolona. So, and my point is that the people who were here before us curated those. You'll see how, as you go to Lexington, there's a lot of hills. These things were not just like that. Actually, the soil shows that the indigenous people here before us curated those pieces. So whenever they went to hunt, they planted the deer to come to them. They planted things so the animals could come to them. So they were so obsessed with augmenting life that they curated the land to do that. And so if you go on Briscoe Lane, and I'm forgetting, what's the cross street? Briscoe and what? It's Old Shep, but there's another one though. Anyway, my point is that at Highview, it's called Highview, and Coach Mack, may he rest in peace, he just passed away this past week. He taught me that. He's like, he said, there's a point up there that when you stand, you can see the Mercer Tower from up here. And there's a point at night, it's depending on when the sun sets, you can actually see into downtown Louisville. And it's only for a little bit if you got clear skies. But and that is that's a piece, right, to show how land is curated and how it is through being positively obsessed with life that these things happen. And so, can someone read this for me real quick? Someone up here that I can give this mic to. Okay.
The role of the artist is exactly the same as the role of the lover. If I love you, I have to make you conscious of the things you don't see.
Thank you. Yes, so we talking about love now. Love. So this love piece has so much. I sit. Everybody was asking me if I was nervous, and I'm like, man, when you sit in love, you're nervous, but you're just stoked. You were just stoked, And it's like, and saying that and feeling what I'm feeling in my body and being here, it is an act of love. And then when we put it into the context of the political identities that I carry, it is an act of political education. And so with that, I want to name Sara, Gabi, Penny, Juana, George, Juan Carlos, Karina, Rosario, Chata, Lupe. So these are all different people that have breathed life into me, that have given me their, still right now, that have literally brought life into me. And up here is some of this physical manifestation of it. And then here is my papa, Servando. Everybody say, hi, Servando. Yeah, he's not here, but he's here with us, okay? He's not transitioning, he's just not in this place right now. But check out Servando's technique right here, okay? My man's got the maíz right here that he just ate, connected to a stick, connected to a bonbon, okay? This man, he's gonna make it happen. And I have when you all see me, and I think outside of this, this is the kind of stuff that until I was in 2015, until I sat with Sara Nunez, and she taught me about this thing called cultural resiliency, I did not, it hurts me till this day that I did not see my people as brilliant until I experienced their brilliance inside of education. I knew that they were badass though. It's just, this education has so much power that in going through, like I know how to cumbia zapatear, and so forth. But I never seen it as this place of like, yeah, but it doesn't belong when I go to St. Rita. It doesn't belong when I go into Okolona Elementary. It doesn't belong when I go into Slaughter. It doesn't belong when I go to DeSales. And it was moments like that, though, thankfully, where Sara, I view these people like Sara who are such militant people who go inside of systems and they build a little fort and they're like, come inside. Did you know that your people are actually mad brilliant, Marcos? And I'm just like, really? Why? How? They're adaptable, they're innovative, they're critical thinkers. And I'm like, what? For real? I guess I'll believe you. Like, I mean, all right. And from that, y'all, like, there was something that I think my spirit calmed down. I reached a sense of calm once I got to bring my mom into the room in my own way. From that came, I was already arting, but it definitely kind of got into this place of where I brought them in more intentionally. And so this piece right here is actually a piece that is under this jacket, and we'll show you here in a second. But this piece really details a lot of my journey through art. And so let me get the clicker. I forgot I had this. Okay. So this piece right here, so bringing your attention to this one. Does this have a laser thing? Oh, look at that. Okay, we got lasers, y'all. We firing. So this piece right here is right in here. And so I want to pass this around, and you all can kind of just be very gentle with it. This piece here so the inside of it, this piece right here was quilts so it was a quilt that has Kendrick Lamar's Sing About Me, which Good Kid, Mad City to me is a codices of, and I think rap as a genre is a codices of love, grief, and loss, right? It is like, how do you grieve? How do you cope with loss? And for me, I was about 15, 16 years old, and my cousin Oscar passed away. And little Marcos, who was just trying to be a soccer player, and still trying to also be some sort of student, loses his cousin it was just a really hard time for me. And so a way that I coped with it was I looked at Kendrick. Kendrick had the words that I didn't have. And so what I did was, you'll see it has the whole first verse on there. And this is a piece where Kendrick, it's from the point of view where, so one of Kendrick's friends is telling him to take care of his little one while he's in prison. And that little one passes away, and this is Kendrick's song about it. And in it, he speaks about how the little one passed away. And for me, Oscar passed away by himself, and that was something that back then never really sat well with me. So this was for me going back to that moment and kind of clothing him and accompanying him in that moment of his transition. And so this piece was a whole quilt that hung on my wall up until about 2020. And then that's really when I kept looking at it, and I was like, how can I bring those quilts, how can I bring them into, how can I make them wearable? But the thing with that is that it's mixed media, right? So this is leather. You all won't see that. Anytime you wash that, it's just going to wear out. The lettering is probably not going to be, it's not going to hold up. Even if you hand wash it, there's going to be some sort of the stitching on it, right? I was like, I don't really want to deal with that. And so the technique of the ropa memoria you all will see, you can interchange what's in each of these. And the jacket itself never loses its integrity as a jacket. So it's still very much, it's essentially you're planting something in earth with these. Because when you want to wash these, you just take these off and give it a gentle hand wash. I still just recommend hand washing, right? Don't throw it in there, you know. But it's fine if that's you, you know. But and so that's one of the pieces, though, that for me I was like, how can I keep a jacket? How can I keep a shirt? Because when I first started as an artist, I ruined mini shirts, or I would spend a lot of time on a lot of pieces, and they would get washed, because I'm a clean person. No, I'm just kidding. And they would get washed and just be ruined, right? And so this was my way of there being a continuity between art and keeping a jacket. And so with that, at the same time, there's these yeah, I'm gonna show it. Wait, no, we'll just leave it like that. We'll show it here in a second, and so we'll come back to it. And so this here, all of my pieces, you can hardly see the sewing machine, but this is the sewing machine my mom showed me. My mom showed me how to thread it, and I just never gave it back. And it's a very basic brother. All of the stitching that you see up here that's why the quilts are so small. Oops. That's why the quilts are so small, because they were made just to that size, right? It wasn't until I met my fellow, a very sweet mentor of mine and dear friend Penny Sisto, who taught me how to quilt, and then we got to quilting on much bigger pieces. But up until then, you can actually see Sing About Me right here in its first quilt form, right there. Yeah. I love this fabric. I never did see another piece. I would always go to the Unique on Preston, and that's where I would source all this right here. And so you can see they were all very, very small, and even these pieces here stay to that form. So they're all very kind of to the size of the scale of that machine. And so Nomad is really fitting for me, in the sense that this was some of my first work right here on this hat. And actually my last name is Morales, right? And a way that I owned it in my way was I renamed myself Mochilas. That's always been like, Mochilas Thriving was like the first iteration of it. And so I would write it on my hats everywhere here. And it was with that identity that a mochila, right, is a backpack. And anybody who knows me knows I always have my backpack. I don't care where I'm going. Like, I'll be going on dates, and I'm like, why you bring your backpack? You know, like we're going places. You know, you never know, bro, you know. But I always get that question. I'm just like, I just have it. Like, we're good, you know. And there is, when I first started too, I was just trying to create, and there was a time here where I did hats on. So just whatever I would find at the thrift store was what I would work with. And there was these doll heads that there's a whole army of them at home, and it just felt good, you know. It was just something that just felt right. This was me, my iteration of "I Fucking Hate You" by Tyler back then. So if you know, he like burns his face kind of at the beginning, yeah. And then this was my very early work here, where, like I said, I would mess up a lot of shirts. This was using the transfer stuff, which is stuff here that I still use, and with leather and stitching that together. And so this was some of the early work. And then this shows the transgression of it, right? So in here, and so this shows the transgression specifically of this piece. So this was the quilt. That was a quilt for about, I would say, about 8 years, 7-8 years, until 2020 hit, and I was like, how can we put this on the jacket? And so with that, this is the back piece of this jacket that I'm going to show here at the end. And this is a living shrine of Oscar. So it's if a shrine could exist of a person on a jacket, this was my best go at it. And Oscar critiques me quite a bit. I always hear him. He's always like, "Why would you make it red, man?" And he loves this kaito. And there's this little bus over here, and it glows in the dark on the sides around here. And then this for here, this is how I knew the piece was complete. This I did last year. At the beginning of last year, I added this candle, and this candle allows me to add my prayers in here, to insert my prayers in here. And I put it around clouds to make sure they get to him. Yes. And so now we're gonna, time? How are we doing? Okay, gotcha. So now we're gonna, so my piece, the piece here that is at the Filson is called Rumba Casa. And it's this jacket right here. So this is the front. And then this right here is what the back looks like. And as we end, if you all are interested, I definitely invite you all to come and check this out. This piece and connected with Oscar's piece was really some of my first work at there being layers. So each of these pieces here, and the big one, you can insert these quilts into these pieces like this. And so this is this whole piece, right, of if I ever want to wear something, or if I listen to the oral history that's connected and I want to make a new piece, in time I probably will show up and be like, hey Patrick, I got another little thing. Can we add it? Like, sure, man, for the time, but it's not a part of the collection. You know? No, but again, it's this piece of there being, bringing together the person who's wearing it with the piece, and there being some connection there. And also, just the power of art. I'll never forget it, the moment that there's a piece that I presented with my comrades up here at La Casita. And it had a photo of my mom's hands. She was making chilaquiles. It's actually in here. It's this one. So one morning, every Sunday, these days we don't go as much, but every Sunday my mom would always make chilaquiles at home. And I photographed it one time, right? And with that though, that was a part of that piece, of that insert. And I was like, look, y'all, this is my mom. She's making chilaquiles. And I'll never forget, my mom was in the back like this. Yeah. And I was like, yes, Mom, that's it. It's you. And and so to make people feel like art is, again, that through line of them experiencing themselves in front of a place. Like they're already so sacred, so great. It's just them experiencing themselves up here and them being spoken about up here that I know for me was very healing. When I seen Sara Nunez from Colombia working at U of L, I was like, huh? Like I didn't never see no Chicanx, Latinx individual in higher ed that spoke like she spoke, that moved like she moved. And so to me there's something, there's a calming piece that happens, like I said, you're in that fort and you just feel a sense of calm, and you're able to keep steady. And so with that, I will stop talking, and we are going to listen to about 8 minutes of the Rumba Casa. So the Rumba Casa, with each of these quilts, they each tell different pieces about the oral histories that I collected. So the whole collection is what is up here, and then there's about 5.5 hours of oral histories connected to it, and so this will be 10 minutes of that piece. And each of these oral histories, it was actually my mom, my dad, so Servando, Gabriela, my brother Mario, my other brother Eduardo, and so this is little bits and pieces, and I will stop to kind of comment on the way. And can you tell me when I have 10 minutes so I can round out? Okay, here we go. Okay, sound check first, y'all. Hold on.
Mi nombre es Gabriela Esmerros. Mi nombre es Gabriela Gutiérrez Merlos. Nací en Irimbo, Michoacán.
Mi nombre es Servando Morales Mendoza.
All right, should it be higher? Or y'all can you hear good? I want y'all to hear him.
Nací el 21 de julio de 1964. Nací en el estado de Michoacán. Tarimoro, municipio de Cienguillo.
And so there, I want to pause it and say, oh, that was just the intro for my dad. We were just 10 seconds. Dad, what's your name? Where are you from? And there was already this emotion that transpired simply in stating your name and where you're from. And a lot of my piece and a lot of what I invite you all to think about is that the act of dialogue is one of the most high-tech things we can do. There's a conversation that only I can have with my dad. There's a conversation that only each of you all can have with each of the people who have chosen you to walk with them and you have chosen them. And so...
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcos Morales, and today I am interviewing Daniel Morales.
Hi everyone, I'm Mario Morales, or Mario Morales, Mario Armando Morales.
Today I am interviewing...
Oh, hold on. No.
Tarimoro, municipio de Cienguillo.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcos Morales, and today I am interviewing Daniel Morales.
Hi everyone, I'm Mario Morales, or Mario Morales, Mario Armando Morales.
Today,
So that right there is interesting. Mario, in my head, every time I listen to this, he's like, he gave his very American name, and then he goes his kind of Mexican-American name, and then he just gives the full, like, Mario Armando Morales. Like really what it is, Again, like, they're very small, but it's such a political act.
I am interviewing Eduardo Luis Morales.
Y después de ahí del downtown nos vinimos a Ocolona, ahí a la Egypt Lane. Ahí llegamos como un pequeño pueblo, hijo, pues ahí la escuela de Santa Rita.
Siempre hemos estado aquí casi en Ocolona, siempre hemos en esta área, en Egypt Lane, aquí estuvimos como 7 años, después aquí nos cambiamos para Billy Lane, ahí vivimos tal vez 4 años, y ya luego aquí pues nos vinimos aquí para Rock Hollow. La iglesia de Santa Rita, sin lugar a dudas, es un lugar pues muy remarcado para mí, porque pues la iglesia que ahí he estado por siempre, que ahí se empezó a hacer la misa.
I remember the batting cage. You guys would take me there all the time. To Target or to the mall, like with my brothers or with my mom, was dope. Like just walking around there, Okolona, the Jefferson Mall, to get some Chinese, like every Sunday. And then seeing like other kids from church there too, and talking to them, and it was just very like...
Como desde California, porque allá en California nada más fue como un juego de salir a vender tamales y se vendían muy bien. La gente me los pedía para fiestas, nos íbamos a los departamentos, nos íbamos allá para la 42, a los ranchos de caballos que había allá. Y nos íbamos, los viernes tocaba ir los sábados tocaba ir a Charleston, un pueblito acá para Indiana. Mucha gente hispana ahí, mucha. Y ya después de vender el abarrote, pues vendíamos el lonche, después pusimos nuestro restaurante. En el 2005 vino una recesión, en 2006 ya no había gente a quien venderle, no había trabajo. Y yo salí con mi comida y me recuerdo que ese día no vendí nada más que $30. Y aquí llegó un tornado, hijo.
And so for those non-Spanish speakers, kind of the key points of that, right, was my mom and dad speaking about where our trajectory here in terms of place. So the oral histories were focused on place, education, and politic. And so we'll hear more about that. And then, and livelihood, I forgot to mention that. And so one of the pieces that my mom here is talking about is in terms of how they made a living. So growing up for me, and Andrew knows this, anytime he'd come over, my mom would be cooking his breakfast and then cooking food to get ready to go sell to construction workers. And then back then, about 20 years ago, it was mainly on the east side. So like polo fields, all of that, like I kind of really got to see, to an extent, be built. And so, and it's a big reason why I know my way around Louisville, because we was just in the back always, there.
Pasó un tornado, una granizada bien dura y llegó mucho trabajo de roof aquí y vino mucha gente de Texas. Eso fue en el 95.
Nos dedicamos a vender comida en las obras, hacíamos guisos de comida y pues fuimos a la obra y luego no había tiendas aquí mexicanas y también se nos ocurrió ir a Chicago a traer mercancía y fue como empezamos también a vender abarrote.
First job was at Dairy Queen at the Jefferson Mall. I didn't know what I was doing, so I applied first to American Eagle, and I got an interview, and I showed up in a shirt and tie. Did not get the job. Everyone else showed up in American Eagle clothes, and I showed up in a shirt and tie. Did not hear back from them.
You know, we'd wake up to the.
So that right there, right, that's my oldest brother, Daniel, right, who I always make sure to pay so much respect and homage to, because I lived in his shadow thanks to him taking on the front. Kind of like the headwind, I was able to also kind of be where I am. And so that was Daniel, much like my parents. So one thing my dad named there was that they would go, like he said, se nos ocurrió. So he was like, it also came to us that back about 20 years ago, there wasn't that many little supermercados or tiendas mexicanas, Mexican stores around here. So what they would do was that my dad would go to Chicago, bring the stuff down here, and then they would sell it out of like the back of my dad's truck, and sometimes the Jeep. And so that was, again, it carries this super, I'll never forget too, how my mom tells me this story. She was like, one day your dad didn't get up to go to work. And I was like, yo, you're not going to work? He was like, and she said that all he told him was that, make your guisados, we're going to go sell them. And she was like, what? But she did it, right? And that's what they did for about a decade and some change. All throughout, it was about 96 until about 07 until that was, and to me that was normal, y'all. Like it was a while until I learned that. I was like, oh, not everybody does that? Like, yeah. Okay.
Mi nombre es Gabriela.
It'd be like chicharrón con salsa, or it'd be puerco de res, you know, or sometimes the specialty was always like flautas or quesadillas. Like everyone loved them. Everyone, like she would have like extra coolers just for that shit, bro. It's like, so when people would come, mom would do it outside, like she would serve the food out of the back of the Jeep or the van.
Parents, I describe them as like the most ambitious, hardworking people I know. I say Daniel is a very, very just like a smart guy, very just smart, just hella smart, hella just aware, knows a lot of things with the culture. A great dad. Mario is also another amazing brother I have. That he's like that muscle in the family. I feel like, you know, big, carries a lot of things. He's like that. He's a hard worker. He's a great dad. He's a funny guy. He can make you laugh, make you smile, make you feel comfortable. And because like mom's sick right now, you know, with her skin, but like she still goes to go to work. You know, it's like. It's wild, you know, like she's like in pain every day. She wakes up and still goes to somebody else's house and cleans it. Like that's just nobody that grew up in America, I don't think would do that. They would just stay home and just say that I can't. But like she still got like that wired in her brain, you know, like to just keep going. And I think that's something I thought, just to keep going, just keep going.
Yo las casas, lugares donde yo voy a trabajar, yo veo que tienen todo. Y venimos para acá y no está todo lo necesario para vivir.
Yo nunca he votado en México por estar en desacuerdo con el sistema que había antes del PRI, que tanto nos robó, que inclusive robó territorio, tratados que hostigó mucho a México, le impuso muchas sanciones, todo eso. Ojalá y regresen o haga un día justicia con todo lo que hizo Estados Unidos a México. Hemos sido inmigrantes aquí en un país donde casi el mexicano no tendríamos que ser ilegales, porque nuestro territorio Mis abuelos, ellos no tenían política porque
So here was my dad speaking about politics, and so this piece about, and paraphrasing, a lot of it was about, I don't know what the buzz is, y'all. But he spoke a lot about, some of the main pieces were that we should not be immigrants here in our own land. Like, we have no reason for that. We have no reason to experience that type of label, because back in Mexico, and even he speaks about Mexican politics, about how for 30 years there was just one party that was under power. And so now he's going to talk about, next is this spirituality and continuing the politic piece.
ellos no sabían. Y yo estoy muy descontento también con la iglesia que nunca les ayudó a la gente pobre, a la gente que fue maltratada, porque mis abuelos fueron maltratados. Un padre sabe mucho. Ellos tienen una carrera universitaria y tienen grados en educación. Y sabían de la necesidad que había en mi pueblo y nunca les dijeron, nada más les decían que allá en la justicia de Dios les iban a ayudar, que allá en la justicia, y mientras acá en la tierra le estaban robando, porque mis abuelos trabajaron para la hacienda. Y un padre que era padre, que él sabía de las injusticias, que él era más educado, que él fue a la universidad y que él promovía la ley de Dios, jamás ayudó a mis abuelos. Y claro, mis abuelos murieron en la fe en Cristo, y qué bien, porque rezando. Y yo creo que ellos deben estar en la gloria, porque si no están en la gloria a mí me daría mucho coraje que ni siquiera eso. Yo creo que mi abuelo, ellos lo dejaban a Dios, un problema se lo dejaban a Dios.
And so we'll conclude it there. That piece was my dad speaking about. So I for those who are aware, right, of the monarchs and how they migrate down south. So where my people are from, we're from Michoacan, and one of the places we're just to the north of one of the ranges where the monarchs migrate to. So if you go there in the fall, you'll see them flying through. And all that, to place it in that, it's my dad and my mom, they were both raised in kind of on the countryside. And so my dad we're 2 generations away kind of from slavery. My great-grandparents worked at the hacienda, is what he just said, and he said any problems that they had, they left it to the justice of God. It was like they were not believers of politics, and thinking about the multi-generational transmission process, like how does that get passed down? Like, then you have my dad, who I've asked my dad, I was like, Dad, what would you be if you could go back? He was like, I would be an organizer. He was like, I would be something in politics. And so it took about 2 generations for somebody to feel that autonomy, right? And then here I am talking about how art is a political act, right? And an act of political education. And so keeping those things in mind. And so now as we move forward, these are kind of some of the pieces up here on the screen, and I hope that if it interests you, you're welcome to check the pieces out here on the table. They're all 13 quilts are here. And so this piece is on the top part of the jacket. And then so I use that same, the transfer paper technique with these, and all of the stitching here was done on a brother, a very basic brother. We definitely pushed it though. And the monarch there's in the middle, right, acknowledging this piece of Michoacan and where we're from. And I would say here in Louisville, it's been actually super neat to, it's a real full circle moment anytime. For those of you who don't know, so the people who own Taqueria Águila and the people who own Foco, they're also from Michoacán. And about 2.5 years ago, I was at Taqueria Águila on Tuesday at the Meriwether, and David's dad was there, and I was like, yeah, no, my parents, and they're from Oldham County. And I was like, yeah, no, we used to go to Skylight, and we used to go out to Oldham County and sell food out there. And we had this moment, he was like, wait, that was you all? He's like, Martina, it was them, remember? That's the only reason why we would eat tortillas. And this and that, and they got all the chiles and all that. And so it was like this, for me, it's anytime I get to be in space with La Pana or with Foco, for me, it's like I feel like we have this little bunker built here in Louisville where we're able to exist in our identities, in our Chicanx identities, and really own it in this way that I know my spirit has always longed to. Because it's really random, you know, somebody from Michoacán in Louisville, Kentucky, 2,000 miles north, you know, it's like, huh? You know, but we're here, right? And so, and this is my brother Daniel right here. This is the American Eagle guy right here. He's a whole dad now. This is Juju right here. This is Santi. And this is my sweet cousin, Laura Rebollo right here. Laura was a big piece, was instrumental in getting all of the oral histories transcribed in both Spanish and English with this project. And Laura is not here, but she's definitely she's definitely present here though. She sent me a text this morning. And this is the newest of the family, Esmeralda right here. And this is Mario up here, and my mama. And this will be, we're finishing up, I think. Okay. This will be kind of one of the last pieces I speak to. So within this, I always say like my art is a place where those who feel called to it is a place to come and mourn and celebrate and to experience what is happening. And this phrase says asesinado en plena vista, so murdered in plain sight. And this is what I feel I have seen my parents, the people, my parents, my family, my friends experience when the access to their home has been locked away from them. And I'll say the day that my dad was able to finally go back home, he came back, I felt his spirit much more at ease. And I can just go down the street, and anytime I hit, outer loop in Preston, I'm like, yes, what is up? It's just great, like to the right is Panchitos, and we got, and then to the left, we have La Loma, and yeah, we're there. But there was a moment, right, where I lived in the South End, and that was a moment for me. It was probably about 2017 when I was like, wow, I have access to home, but my parents, and it was kind of that epiphany moment of like, this is such a privilege to be able to ride down these streets, and so this is where concepts like this came to be. And I think this is more and more true today as people's spirit is so vibrant, but their physical bodies existing here is very much under attack. And que digan que estoy dormido is another. So there's only two phrases in this collection, and these are the two. Que digan que estoy dormido has to do with a song that was written in the 1920s, is México lindo y querido. And then it was interpreted in the 1950s by Jorge Negrete, ¿verdad? Yes, Jorge Negrete. And for me, it is like built in to, like, if you say this phrase to any Mexica person, they're gonna start singing. And it's this piece of, if I die away from Mexico, just tell them that I'm sleeping when I come back home, and we'll leave it at that. And just say that. And so there's this longing that I feel for sure in my lifetime. This statement is more and more, even more and more felt here. That if people do return, that just please say I'm sleeping. I'm not. I'm actually. I'm good. And so, with that, I think to just bring it all together, if my work was in some phrases, it would be I am safe, and this is in the words of Dr. Tello in his work with Joven Noble, and it is I am sacred, I am loved, and I am a blessing. So if we can repeat that all together, I am sacred, I am loved, I am a blessing. Very good. And so here's the whole squad right here. And y'all, I got to see my cousin Alan last week. It was so this is one of my heroes right here. Like, my goodness. And we seen each other at the airport, and I was so thrilled. I hadn't seen him in so long. And so to me, I had to put this up here because he's just one of the people that I was like, nah, that man is superhuman. And it was so cool for us to meet. He was headed to work. We were both headed to work. It was like, what? Like, it was just a big moment for me. It's something I'll hold really near and dear for a long time. And so that is it, you all. Thank you.